G'day, and welcome back to the channel, Headlight Restoration Perth. Today I'm going to be working on a Holden Commodore 2011 Ute. So that's the VE, Great Australian Vehicle. So because of the amount of UV and everything we get in Australia, like the lights, they do get a good flogging. So finding lights like this isn't uncommon. So, but it doesn't matter how big a job or hard it is or whatever, how much you're getting paid, you always got to do what you got to do and always strive to get that same outcome for the customers. Because I'm sure that a lot of people would think that you could charge a bit more, and I'm sure a lot of people in the industry over here, they probably do. I just charge $100 a car. I just don't care. I don't care if it's good lights, bad lights. I think it all works out in the wash. So I just charge $100 because to me that's giving value before they've even got the end result. So they already know that they're getting a good price. And when you give them the results that they're not expecting, that's even more rewarding, So, and that they feel like they've got a really good deal, double dipped, because they already think that they're getting a decent deal because of the price. And then when you do the same job as you would do if you're charging $300, they can see the effort you put in. So they did get a score for the day, so to speak. So value for money. That's what it's about. And it's the job satisfaction as well. Because when I start with a light like this, it was pretty shocking. And looking at it now, you just can't even see through it. So being in the cleaning industry for a few years anyway, just the domestic cleaning, commercial cleaning, the principle's the same, So when I was doing floors and things like that, you'd go there, they would look shocking. You'd strip them all back to the bare floor, and then you would apply the polish, and you would end up with a fantastic result. And it's the same with this. You show up at a job, and the lights look pretty bad, and that's good. The worse they look, sometimes the better, because the satisfaction that you get from it at the end, that's priceless. And that's part of the reason I actually really enjoy doing it. It's because of that job satisfaction. And what people don't realise is I could do 1, 2 or 3 sets of lights in a day, and I can get that job satisfaction after every single light. You know what I mean? So you might be in a different industry. You could be a panel beater or a builder, whatever, where you work on something, and you might not get that job satisfaction for a few days, for a week, for a month. It really depends on the job that you're doing, So to be able to do something like this, and you can get job satisfaction within an hour or so, it really does go a long way. And until you actually realise that, it's something you don't even think about, So, and that's the other driving factor why you always want to do a good job. It's about that satisfaction and that feel good moment. You've done a good job. You're helping someone out. You put a smile on their face. That you've given them good value for the job that you're doing. So it's just things like that, And so if you are getting into the headlight restoration game, don't be afraid to make errors. Don't be afraid to rip it all back to headlight like this, because when I very first was doing this, and then you'd rip it back to where you couldn't even see through it, you start thinking, am I going to even be able to bring this back so it's going to be clear, because you just don't know. So the fact is that you can, and if you make an error, you can just sand it back and do it all over again. Everything's fixable. So that's the other glory about this. It's not like if you made an error, you got to buy new parts or you got to do this or do that. Like, you just put on a fresh bit of sandpaper and you give it another crack and you start again. And it really is that simple. So there's so many bonuses to doing something like the headlight restoration. And like, I never even thought of half of them. Before I started, I was thinking, oh, I can do that. I'm sure I can. And had a crack. So the fact is that you're going to find that it really does become a bit of a process, and you start enjoying the process because you actually know that the result that's going to come before anyone else even sees it. So that job satisfaction, definitely worth the effort. And if you do enough, you can make a living. It doesn't necessarily you're going to make $1 million out of it, but the amount of opportunities that come your way that you get introduced to just from doing this, like because I started this, I looked into how am I going to be seen by potential customers, what could I do? And from that whole process, it made me think about what I could do to be found. And after doing a bit of research, a bit of homework, like, I actually have started up a whole new venture, a different business, because of the fact that I wasn't sure how to get the name out there. So I now do something that gets my name out there, and it's a whole different business altogether. So now I've just started a new business as well. So now I've got two businesses on the run, but they both complement each other. So my second business is about the getting out in front of people and putting your name out there. And I'll go into that on another video, but like, basically it all come about because I wasn't sure how I was going to be seen or found or anything. And one thing led to another, and the old brain was ticking over, and it just created a whole new opportunity. So now I'm double dipping with the money, and the other one's starting to make money as well, and I'm looking after myself, looking after other local businesses in the areas that I'm working. So so that's something to keep an eye out for, because I'll go into that a bit more later on. But if there's any job that gives you that satisfaction, like, you'd be surprised how satisfying this actually is. So give it a go. Keep on going. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. And maybe you should create your own YouTube channel as well and get the feedback that I do, because I only did it so I could learn more. With the channel, I had no idea what I was doing, but I know that YouTube is one of the biggest teaching platforms in the world, where everyone goes to get lessons. So I thought, well, while learning and providing, like, I'm going to be taught by everyone who's leaving comments and that, and it's worked out unbelievable, to be honest. So definitely, if you're looking at headlight restoration, it's an easy entry. It's profitable. You don't have to have a big outlay. Like, I started with $50, and I started hand sanding, and and after I got a couple of jobs, then I'd buy different products, and now I'm doing it this way. I'm using tools, so it doesn't matter where you start, as long as you always have the ending in sight, you know what I mean? Always know where you're going to go. It's like if you're going to build a house, you don't just start by putting a brick down. You know, you already know what the house is going to look like at the end. So don't be afraid to start with nothing, because you already know where you're going to end up. You know that you have to do a few jobs, and then you'll be able to buy a second-hand battery-operated drill, and then you do a couple more, and you'll be able to buy a pistol grip polisher, and that's exactly what I did. Then you do a couple more, and you'll be able to buy the proper product to polish the plastic and the clear that's designed for headlight lenses, and all of a sudden, you know, a month or two down the road, you got everything you need, and it's all worked out from itself. It's not like you've had to outlay anything, you know. Like I just done a $50 purchase with sandpaper, a clear, some tape, and made some money from that, and it's just grown itself. So I had nothing to put into it, and now I'm making money out of it. So definitely you're able to do that. You can definitely do that, and if you are going to do it, make sure you leave a comment saying, yeah, I'm starting my own channel, and I'll be sure to subscribe and follow, and just like I'm been getting great advice, if there's anything that I can teach you, like I'll do the same. You know, it's just one hand washing the other. We're all part of a community, so and I've found that, you know, that it's all positive sort of stuff. I watched all of that Headlight Pro, Restoration Pro. I watched every one of his 156 videos or however many he's got, and he would always go out of his way to hide his business name, phone number, all the details. He reckons he had some haters, and you know, and maybe it could have been just the way he projects himself. It could be just the way people are. I really don't know, but I haven't come across that, and it's still early in the journey. So I think if it remains that we're all looking after each other, and everyone knows that's what it's about, I don't see why anyone wants to be pretty negative about it. So don't be afraid of that. And if they do, learn from it. Everything is a learning opportunity. You know, you learn to how to take rejection. You'll learn a lot. But don't be afraid to start something. And that's what this is all about, you know, because I'm doing it because of my kids, and I'm showing them that it doesn't matter if you know something or you don't know something. Just give it a crack, because you'll surprise yourself, you know, because you're what did they say? Yeah, you're braver than you think. You're smarter. You're stronger than you even give yourself credit for. So you are that person. So give it a go. I look forward to seeing any videos out there. So you've seen it from the start. Now I'm putting the clear on. With that, I'm just pointing out there's a red dot on the top of the can. Always point the nozzle to that red dot, because that's where the stem runs right along that edge. So when you're on that angle, you'll always get every last drop of the fluid in there. So like, subscribe for any more videos that you like this. Leave a comment. I look forward to reading them all, and you have yourself a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.